We're going live.
We are. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Build Big, Live Bigger. I'm Lindsey, and this is a special one for Matt and I. It's our first time that we get to sit down behind the mic together, and we're super excited. Matt is one of our lead advisor here. He works mostly out of the Simpsonville office, but he has over a decade of experience of helping families retire with clarity and confidence. And I get to do the fun stuff. I get to be a part of the marketing and see people from the first time that they come to a dinner event and maybe a little skeptical, hesitant. They don't really know what to expect, all the way to becoming a client at our client events and making new friends and getting to hang out with us.
Yeah, so I'm excited. This is the first time being on the podcast. And what are we going to talk about today?
I think just talking about the difference in people going through the process and just the process of people getting that clarity and the confidence and how it truly changes their perspective on retirement, but life, because they get to do the things that, gosh, they worked all in their 30s, 40s, and 50s to achieve, and then got to a point where they didn't even know if it was realistic to do the fun stuff. And now they get that confidence to do it.
Yeah, and that's, I feel, we talk a lot about what we're the best in the world at, and arguably I would say building that confidence and that clarity for the clients, because like you said, not a lot of people know what retirement's like. It's their first time. But I'm excited to be here. We'll bring our experience. Like you said, I've been doing this for over a decade. We were trying to count back, and I was like, oh, I guess, I was working in the industry back then and not going to football games. So yeah, I'm excited about going through this process, what we do through the Big Money Blueprint, how we put that together and be bold for clients, what questions they need to ask.
Right.
And people walk into these dinner seminars or educational events or library events that we run because we know we need to get the voice out there. We see the impact that we're able to make on clients' lives. And so many people, it's just, they live through fear. Not a lot of investing is logic. A lot of it's emotional. And so we take pride in making sure that we can lead people in the direction with that confidence. And I think we've done it over 700 households at this point.
Yeah,
so.
And that's super exciting. I mean, we see people all the time that come in and like, I have a financial advisor. And we're like, okay, great. What plan do you currently have set up for your retirement? And they're like, oh, well, I mean, we don't have a plan. And it's like, okay, well, what are you looking to do in retirement? When are you looking to retire? They're like, oh, I want to next year.
Yeah, so often we'll meet with clients on a weekly basis and we'll see, I mean, I don't have stats in front of me, but majority of people have an advisor, which is great because statistically, 1 out of every 2 Americans, we can fact check that, but from what I've seen, don't even have an emergency savings to get through 1 month of expenses. And so we see these people doing the right steps. They're planning for the future. They're putting money away. They're trying to grow it. But for a lot of things, me personally, I've worked for some of the largest financial institutions in the world, in America by far. And there's a lot of asset managers that exist where you'll go to a firm, they'll invest the money, they'll be very product heavy on their conversations, and people are constantly using that as their compass when they're trying to choose an advisor. But there's a huge difference between growing money and then transitioning from a saver to a spender.
Oh, absolutely. And, we see people all the time that come in and when we ask them about their plan for retirement, they're like, oh, well, I just tell my advisor when I need the money and he gives it to me. And it's like, but what's the longevity of that? Have you looked into how much you can take a year or how often you need it to survive through retirement to do the fun things?
Yeah, and we've had a great run in the markets the last 15 plus years, and it's been really fun making money. And I think the farther we get away from that pain, people forget about what we can actually control as advisors. The markets will be the markets, and if anybody tells you that they know what the future is going to hold, that's red flag number 1.
Oh yeah.
And so I've been doing this long enough to see those snake oil salesmen out there that claim to have something that's way better than exists. But what we're doing is setting up a process that clients will go through that, and we find a lot, it's the first time they've asked or been asked what a dream retirement actually feels like.
Yeah.
Most people are fearful of retirement, which is sad because you've worked so long and you've sacrificed so much, and you get to this important transition and you're like, can I do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see people all the time that have millions that come to the dinner event and they'll be like, I'm not sure if I even belong here. And we talk to them, they come in for an initial appointment, and they say that they don't know if they can do the things they want to do, that they've always want to take their grandkids to Disney or go on this family trip or travel, but they don't know if it's realistic for them. And then throughout our process, because one of the things I love about what we do is that our whole process is custom tailored to them. We learn about them. We want to know not only how much income do they need in retirement, but how much do they want to spend doing the fun things? And we put that into their plan.
Yeah, we challenge our clients quite a bit, where some are not taking enough risk.
Right.
A lot are taking too much risk. But as a financial advisor, I find myself frequently saying, hey, can you please spend some money?
Yes.
Mostly because I live vicariously through everybody else. I'm like, please tell me about the trips that you've done recently. Like, how was Greece? How was going down to the Disney vacations with your family? Like, I want to know what that's like and put it on my to-do list as well. So a little selfishness when it comes to that planning place. But yeah, people are afraid to spend, and we want to go through and use the technology that we pay for as data-driven fiduciaries to give clients that confidence that, you know what, we've looked at this in like good markets and bad markets, that volatility that gives you the concern, we account for that in the plan. And we know there's going to be some good times and bad times. It's been really great doing these client reviews with our annual check-ins with how did we do last year over year. We've had a really great positive 12 months with a lot of our clients making great returns. Averaging double digits was exciting. And so we look at that, and those are easier than, hey, we had a down year. What does that look like? Clients sometimes are looking over their shoulder of what's coming up, what are my blind spots, and how do I prepare that with confidence? But some of my favorite feedbacks are from clients that work with other clients. They see them and they see that transition at the workplace where they felt that stress, and you could see it on their face. You could see them weighing on their shoulders, and then now they don't have that. They're smiling again because they see that light at the end of the tunnel, and they're like, there's hope again, there's dreams. And I'm constantly telling those people, like, hey, did you go get that RV out of storage and finally use it? It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Did you go see the family? Like, we made you a ton of money this last year. Like, please go use that and bless others, be charitably driven, or, you know what, we've accounted for some of these down markets. So I think we've done a great job filling up that store. We have that cash bucket, income bucket, and growth bucket set up so that you truly can live that retirement worthy of the sacrifices, because it's not easy.
No.
And not everybody has options. And so when we walk through the big money blueprint, that's the exciting part about this. You say you get to do fun stuff, we get to see the results of the fun stuff. We're planning for a Wine and Wisdom next Friday, a week from today. So in about 7 days, we'll be having a really good time with existing clients saying, hey, let's truly live the dream.
Yeah, and in the summer luau, and I think it's a great time for people to come in and just relax, because we like to say that we don't want to just see you in the office. We want to see you out there. We say build big, live bigger, because that's the whole purpose of it. You've built big, and now it's time for you to live bigger. And I've seen people come into the office for their initial and been like, wow, I just don't really think about retirement. Like, I'm just coming in for a second opinion. And then by the end of their second, and showing them like what a retirement could look like, and then them finding out with full confidence that they could retire now. And then they go from not wanting to retire at all to deciding that by December 31st, they're done. They're going to stay home and live their dreams, and their wives, because typically it's the men who keep saying that they're going to work. And then the wives are like, oh yeah, finally we can travel. I've been wanting to do this for a while. And I think that is awesome. And just seeing how people just the physical reaction, like you were talking about. Like they come in so almost not scared, but they come in uncertain that they don't know what they can actually do, and they don't even know what options are out there. And even in a down market, we have them protected where they still are going to have their income, but they're not going to lose any in a down market. And I think that's super important because earlier this year, with all the tariffs and everything, when the markets went down, of the 700 households, I think we had 2 that called in acting a little concerned. But, we talked to them like, no, we planned for this. Like, that's what your growth bucket's for, because the market will always come back. But that's why you have your protected bucket, because sometimes it can take a long time and you don't want to pull out your money for income, especially when you're living off of it when the markets are down. So I think them having confidence in a plan, regardless of what's going on in the market, where some of them, I hear all the times from the wives that they say, we don't even have to watch the news anymore because we're not constantly watching the market because we feel confident. And I think that's the biggest key factor in a retirement plan, is having the clarity and the confidence.
Absolutely. So do we want to talk about today from a high level, but what does that process look like?
Yeah.
And how do we start from someone sitting at their kitchen table, they get a mailer, they say, you know what, is it worth my time to go see this group?
I think they get the mailer and they're like, what's big money?
Yeah, what is big money?
Yeah.
Like, people ask me
who
all
are
the
these
time,
people?
Yeah, Matt, why would you jump from a big name firm to a place called Big Money Retirement?
But we're bold.
But we're bold,
Yeah.
right? And it's going to stick out. But more importantly to us, we internally talk all the time as big money means big dreams.
Yeah.
And we want to reshape that mindset and have clients work with perennial optimists,
Right.
which we're confident doing things the right way over time are going to produce results. And so I can say that I've seen some pretty significant drops in the markets over my career,
Yeah.
and how to weather those storms. Being that captain on that ship for clients, that again is our responsibility and our duty to the people we serve and our families, that we go in and out, they want to know, are our dreams protected?
Yeah.
And are we on track? But yeah, I think more as we go through the process with people when we do our reviews, the constant question is, hey, Matt, or anybody else at Big Money, like, what if we dialed this up a few years? Like,
Yeah,
67 sounded great, but can you like press that button? What's 63 look like?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times it's actually plausible. They could actually do it. And just something that they never thought was possible. Everybody just hears like, oh, okay, 69 and a half, or when they can start drawing Social Security, that's when I'm ready to retire. But they don't look at it from an analysis standpoint. Like, does it actually make sense? Do you need to actually work a few extra years? Because sometimes we do have to have those tough conversations. Like, if this is the income you want, you might have to add a few years or be okay with taking less income. But at least they have the clarity to know where they're at.
Yeah, and what we do on a weekly basis with each other is talking about those personal, professional, financial goals and setting up that culturally internally of, are we trying to achieve things that are important? Just this morning with all the lead advisors, and Lindsey, you were on that call too, was Jonathan saying he wants us to hit our personal, professional, financial goals as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And what are we doing to add that tenacity in our lives to achieve it? And that absolutely is going to trickle down to the people that we serve, because not every company that I've worked for in the past had a team-focused concept. We've really flipped that on its head and said, well, if we're going to serve each other, absolutely we're going to serve the clients. And that is important. We try to be client obsessed.
Yeah.
And that looks different for a lot of people, but for us, that means when we wake up and we do our morning call, which we do every morning,
Yes.
7:45, every day we talk about wins. Who did we help get one step closer to that dream retirement yesterday? And what does the schedule look like for today? Who are we going to help today?
Yeah.
What do we know about that person? And so many people, when they first join the firm, they're like, oh, they have X amount net worth. Like, this is what they're trying to do. And then gradually over time, you feel that conversation switch to, well, this person is trying to really help their grandkids.
Yeah, it's building that personal connection through the process.
Yeah, we stop talking about dollars and cents and rate of return, and we talk about dreams achieved. And I truly believe that separates us, and it's a culture thing.
Oh, absolutely. You know, one thing I like to say is whenever I go get my hair done, I'm not going to get my hair done by someone who doesn't have good hair. Because if you're not going to take care of your own hair, you're definitely not going to make my hair look good. And I think that goes with financial advisory or really anything in general. But it's like, if we're not going to have a plan for ourselves, how are we going to create a good plan for the client? Like, we have to be confident in ourselves first.
Yeah, I'm overly critical about my hairdresser. I put him at a high pedestal. I say, if you don't cut this hair right, I am my own hairdresser, by the way. I don't know if this podcast is visual or audio, but I am bald.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but I mean, it just goes into putting the quality in and having the quality internally, having our standards to show those same standards for our client.
Yeah, absolutely. And I last night was truly trying to live that build big, live bigger concept, where my wife and I, we made a commitment to each other to build on our relationship and have date nights. And so last night we got to see Tom Segura just a couple blocks down at the Peace Center. Tom, if you are listening to this podcast, please have us on the YMH studios. You and Christina versus us together. I think we could build the masses.
Yes.
So shout out to your mom's house podcast. It probably won't make the cut, but if it does, I hope you listen. But yeah, we're trying to do things that are fun. We just had a team event down in the Florida Keys. Yeah. And I grew up in Florida. I was born there for the first 9 years of my life. I was in South Florida. So I thought I knew about the Keys, and we go down there and we have experiences I didn't know existed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my second time being in Florida. It was new for me, but it was definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun, but it's us celebrating the success we're having for our clients. And we're going to do that every year, and it's just going to get bigger, because as we continue to expand, literally next week we have 2 new lead advisors starting.
Yeah.
In our new market down in Charleston.
Which is super exciting. We've all just been so pumped. And I mean, gosh, we're glad to go to a new chapter. You know, look at the retirees down there, because that's a dream spot where a lot of our current clients talk about that they'd like to go and move to possibly at some point.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's walk through what it truly looks like to go through a process. With us here at Big Money Retirement Solutions, because I think that's a question people ask themselves is, well, what is this going to look like when I get the mailer, or I get an email, or maybe a friend invited me to a dinner seminar, or maybe even a wine and wisdom that they said, hey, I'm having a good experience, come see what this is about. The question I think pops up is this going to be worth my time?
Right.
Like, is this going to be the same kind of dinner seminar that I've seen in the past?
Get $10 a month. Like, how to even know which ones to attend.
Truly. It feels like there's a lot of the same data points when you get those mailers, but outside of having a phenomenal meal and really great restaurants that the staff take care of us and take care of the attendees, walking to a seminar, our goal is we want to educate first. So many people in the industry say, you know what, save the good stuff for the appointment.
Yeah.
For us, we're like, well, why don't they walk away better than they came in?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why whenever someone registers for a dinner event or a library event, someone on the team calls them, see what sparked their interest. You know, we're trying to see, like, what information are you looking to specifically get out of this? Like, we want to make this educational for you, worth your time. We want you to, even if your only experience with us is just coming to the dinner event, we want you to leave better than we found you and have some type of more clarity and confidence.
Perfect. Yeah, so people typically will come to a dinner seminar, a wine and wisdom event. They'll go to a library event or even an educational series that we run at one of the universities. They come in, they go to a first appointment. We have a 4-step process.
Yes.
And so we have these pillars that we walk through, but also the very first thing we need to do is when a client or a person that's not working with us yet sits with us, the natural response for people that are like, here's my statement.
Yeah.
We're going to push that to the side.
Yeah, we don't even look at it in the first. Like the statements, that's not what we're doing in the first. We're getting to know them. Like, who is John and Jane Doe? Like, what makes y'all happy? What do you enjoy doing? You know, do you enjoy fishing? How often do you get to currently fish? Oh, once every few months, but I'd really like to go a few mornings. You know, it's coming up on spring or fall, and this is the time I enjoy it the most. It's like, okay, let's make that happen for you. Let's see how we can get you to do that, where you wake up every day just knowing that this is exactly why I have worked so hard all my life to spend my retirement exactly like this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's different. And sometimes you'll see the response on someone's face, and they're like, why are you not looking at the numbers on the page?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, first, we don't know at this moment if these are the right numbers to have.
Right.
We're not sure what we're trying to do. We need to understand your picture, number one. And so the first meeting is people are throwing these puzzle pieces on the table when you first start, and we have a reference, but it's all scrambled at that moment.
Yeah.
And so our job is to start building that border. That's the easiest thing. I always start with corners. And so I teach my son that too, is you start with those corners, and then you start to put those pieces together. And then, wow, after a while, which felt at the beginning was a big task.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is.
Yeah.
We'll have some clients come in with some very detailed, complex goals and financial scenarios that take a lot of planning, a lot of tax strategies, a lot of investment strategies, estate planning. There's more than meets the eye a lot, but once we have that reference of what does a dream retirement look like, we'll put those pieces together.
Yeah.
And then that puzzle starts to build itself out.
Yeah.
So that's step one, and we call that the audit meeting.
Well, even talking about a puzzle, if someone just hands you a puzzle and you don't always get to see the reference picture, how do you put it together? Like, you want to know what you're building.
And a lot of people, that's their experience.
Yeah.
Is they'll sit with an advisor that's so hungry to just gather assets because that's the culture of their firm is, hey, all that matters is the money under management versus are they truly trying to help somebody?
Right.
Or are they just trying to bill?
Right.
Because we see so often in this business, there are asset managers, but not as many retirement planners.
Yeah, retirement guides, we like to say.
Retirement guides.
Yeah.
So how do we lead somebody to see that reference? That's step one.
Absolutely.
Where are we trying to go? Let's reverse that and let's go backwards from the ends. Now we can start to build together. But that's where we go into the second meeting. And that second meeting is the assessment. So we now, after the first meeting, have a really good understanding. Here's the short-term goals. Maybe it's building up that emergency savings that wasn't there because the client was too aggressive. I've been there personally where my savings account looked more like a stock strategy.
Right.
Man, I just never thought I'd ever have a life event that would occur, but you live long enough, unfortunately, things will happen where your tires will go out or your air conditioner might need to be replaced or, you know what, I do want to go on vacation or go on a date night. And you want to make sure you have that cash bucket in place so that we can really truly start thinking long term about these retirement assets and how they're going to not only serve me now, but hopefully 20, 30 years down the road.
Yeah.
And have that consistent retirement income that's going to increase with the cost of inflation.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Do that and after taxes as well. But yeah, the first meeting, we try to find out what those dream retirements look like. The second meeting, we simply take a look and say, okay, we pay $60,000 or more. It's constantly increasing, but we're investing in tools to show us where are the opportunities that exist if a client made no change.
Yeah.
Here's your growth bucket. Here's your safe assets. Here's your cash. Making no difference where you sit today, can we make an improvement?
Right.
We'll look at that and we'll walk through. But importantly, we always like to start with taxes.
Yes. Yes.
So many times it's overlooked is we see a client come with a goal and we ask them, was that after taxes or before taxes?
And they're like, what?
And then you
Is there a
say,
difference?
and they sit back and they're like, I don't know if I thought about that.
Yeah.
Or if they did they use the right tax brackets? So often people look and they assume right now, as a country, we don't need to talk about politics when we look as financial advisors. We need to talk about numbers. If a family comes in and meets with us and says, hey, we're spending $70,000 a year and we make 40.
Right.
As a financial advisor, I'm probably going to look at them and have a hard truth and say, you know, we probably need to spend less.
Yeah.
We look at those numbers as a country, we're spending $7 trillion a year and we're making in the ballpark of $4 trillion.
Yeah.
That is going to be looked at down the road. No, I think we got a gift. July 4th, the One Big Beautiful Bill. From a tax perspective, we know the tax call is going to stay as it is right now.
Yes.
But
that's not permanent either.
It's not. And permanent just means it takes an act of Congress to change it. So obviously in 3 years, some of these things will sunset. It'll get political. But that aside, most experts and people that we talk to in the tax world are acknowledging that there's some changes that need to be made. And unfortunately, most of the clients that are going to get impacted are the ones that we serve. Those that have done a great job saving, Medicare premiums probably could go up. Now, I don't speak in ultimatums. Again, I can't predict the future, but we're not making enough as we spend.
Yeah.
And so that's going to create some issues from a tax perspective. I honestly think we should have another tea party. Like, we all need to ship up to Boston and we need to throw some stuff in the water again. But yeah, taxes are painful. So we'll start with taxes and say, you know what? Here's a free gift. Does it make sense to look at Roth conversions?
Right.
And so we see so many advisors, they overlook that because number one, they don't have a tax professional on staff. We have Chris on our team.
Right, so they can't even legally talk to you about taxes.
That was my biggest frustration. I work for some of the largest financial institutions in the world, and if a client at those previous firms asked me a tax question, I had to say, please go talk to a tax professional.
Who half the time didn't know anything about investments.
They were just tax preparers.
Yeah.
So many people reference a tax advisor that just prepares their taxes. They file the taxes. They give no advice, no proactive planning, but they're really good at telling you how much you owe.
Yes.
Versus we hired Chris because one of the first things I did when I met with Jonathan, I complained about, hey, let's be revolutionaries. Like, let's change this business. Let's really be bold for our clients and make a difference. Here's the roadblocks.
Yeah.
And Jonathan's response was, why don't we just hire a tax advisor?
Yeah.
So we did. And we hired Chris. And Chris has been able to sit with our clients and be proactive because we pay for those tools and those accounting softwares. And that's actually the fourth step in the process. Right. But our gift is to say, hey, here's the current tax liability, because most people do not realize, or they just overlook, well, we're probably going to grow the money as well.
Yeah.
So that current tax liability, which is a great problem, is probably going to get bigger.
Yes. And you talk about how Jonathan listened to you, but you got that feedback from clients. You know, we listen to what our clients say or prospects that come in about, okay, what would make things easier for you? And that was one of the constant things that people said was it was confusing because it was like a lack in that communication. They were the middle person, like talking about, okay, well, my advisor said this, but then my tax advisor said this, and it wasn't clear communication. So now with Chris on the team, he sits in the meetings with the advisors for tax meetings or reviews, and it's like, okay, are we aligned? Do we have your plan in place? And I think that's just super important because you get full clarity and confidence. I mean, at the end of the day, whether someone comes in for a dinner event or they come all the way to becoming a client or they just meet 1 or 2 times, is every meeting you should feel more clarity and confidence than when you came in.
Yeah, and I am confident in this chair right now because all of the legs are working together.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid that I'm going to fall out of this chair because I know each piece is aligned.
Yes.
Exactly to your point. Yeah, so that literally we go from a first meeting, never knowing anything important about that client, now knowing their goals and what a dream retirement looks like, to the second assessment of how do we look at from a fee structure. We believe in transparency. So
Absolutely.
A client asks us how we get paid, we're going to color coordinate that. And we're going to put it on a spreadsheet so you can see, because we know internally and externally we can typically make a difference, significant difference in someone's plan, and that's our goal. It's not to cost you money.
Right. It's to save you money.
Yeah, we get that freedom as being independent is our revenue goes back to the client experience, to the team building, to ensure that everyone gets the service they deserve. Because health, finance, these things are important, and we want to make sure that people are taken care of that right way.
Yeah.
So after the second meeting, most of the people, they see those differences and they feel the change, and they'll say, okay, I'd love to engage you guys. I want to open accounts. That's when we really build that confidence, is after we become clients. That third meeting is what we call the allocation, where we build in our paraplanning team. So at the beginning, people's first interactions with us, they'll see someone like you at a dinner seminar. They'll see some of our teammates that help them schedule the first appointment. They'll come in, they'll see a smiling face greet them at the door.
Good snacks occasionally.
Great snacks.
Good drinks.
Yeah.
Get you taken care of.
If you want to reminisce about the good old days with some moon pies and Cracker Jacks.
Yes.
And a great cup of coffee or some water, whatever your flavor.
Absolutely.
If you like tea, we'll bring you some tea. But we want to be a comfortable experience. So you go through that, you meet with a lead advisor. What people don't see is on the back end, how many other teammates we have to make it a fluid transition. So
Absolutely.
We have a paraplanning team that will walk through stress tests. So we go through technology that we pay for to give us 1,000 simulations of good and volatile markets to say, okay, over time, we're confident that 90+% of all scenarios, like, you're good.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the term, it takes a village to raise some kids?
As a parent of 3 kids, and it's true.
It is, absolutely. But it's the same with the retirement plan. It takes a team. It's not just one person doing one thing. And I think that's how a lot of firms operate right now. And that's why people probably don't get the in-depth process, because that could be a lot for one person to try and put together, especially when people are specials in different fields. Like, everybody knows what they need to do and how they need to execute it to the level of perfection that our clients expect from us to give that clarity and confidence. We won't give wrong information. You know, we want to make it where we like to say that if your mother can't read it, we're not going to show it to them, because we want them to be able to fully understand what they're seeing.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, so we've got that paraplanning team to help us figure out what amount should be in the growth bucket, what amount should be safe, and what amount should be cash. We're going to increase it every year because life gets more expensive.
Absolutely.
Which is really frustrating. It's a concept that I've just learned to accept, but it bothers me.
Yeah.
That things just get costlier over time. But
I remember being in high school and a cheeseburger from McDonald's was $1. And I remember gas was right at $3 a gallon. And everybody always panics over gas. But now gas is still like $3 a gallon, and cheeseburgers are $3.
Exactly. And those that had the opportunity to, like, own a home 30 years ago, and then we look at it today and say, what does a home cost? That's an eye-opener.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely.
look at that and say, okay, yeah, I see that things are getting more expensive. So we account for that in your plan. We also account for taxes. And so we'll do an after-tax goal marked for inflation. And then we look at, here are your income streams. Here's Social Security. Here's a pension if you're lucky to have that. Here's real estate income. Here's business entity income. Like whatever it is, we're able to put that on there. And the question people ask all the time is, well, how confident are we that that Social Security number is going to be there? What is the viability of the system?
Yeah.
Should we develop a plan that does have that included, or do we want to have a little bit of cushion in place? We pay for some technology to give you that confidence of, well, if it does cut by 20%,
What does that look like?
What does that look like?
Yeah.
What if inflation is higher than it has been? What if taxes do go up? We can run all those simulations on the back end. So we do that, and we sit and we seriously put pride in that document so that by the time you sit there as a client, you know I have the liquidity that I need.
Yep.
I have the income streams to help me accomplish those goals. And I've got the amount of growth that can help me fight that inflation. Because the question, you don't need to take risk without any purpose.
Right.
And too many people are just told, invest the money, but for what?
And a lot of times people don't even know what they're invested in. And they might not even be good funds, or they hear that bonds are safe. Well, just now, if you had bonds back in 2022, on average, just now you're breaking even 3 years later.
Or not.
Or not, yeah.
Like some of those clients still have not broken even on the bond funds. And so,
But they're told that's the safe money. So they don't even realize that it's dropped like it has. A lot of times people come into their second and we show the analysis of how they're currently performing, and they had no idea.
right, yeah. And so that's our goal, is we're not dictated by a big bank to say this is what you have to do, or limited by singular options that are filtered for you. We truly meet on a weekly basis as an investment team, and we challenge each other. And we say, is what we're still doing great?
Yeah.
Has anything changed in the landscape? What have we heard? A client comes to us and says, what do you think about this? If we don't know the answer, we're going to research it.
Oh, absolutely.
Too many times in my life, I've gone through scenarios where there's been complacency in the areas that we have experts. I spent so much time recently trying to research a new lawnmower.
Yeah.
On the first cut, the belt breaks. And I was just so frustrated. I go back to where I bought it, and they were like, meh.
Yeah.
I don't know. But zero curiosity. They didn't ask anything about what I did. And then I go to one of my clients that owns a lawn care company, and I said, hey, have you seen this? And he goes, not personally, but let's walk through. How tall was the grass? Was it wet?
Yeah.
How fast were you going? And
Yeah.
what time of day? He started to ask. He was curious. And versus the people that sold me the lawnmower, they literally did not care.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
got
it's not,
their payment up front.
Yeah.
And they were done.
Exactly.
And so that's the frustrating aspect, is you see that complacency, but internally we're going to continually challenge, because because when we look at what's important to a client, it's important to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can go to about any place and be like, okay, I want to invest my money, and anybody take it and they invest it. And it could be the end of the story. But that's not how we do things. It's like, what do you want to be invested in? What are your goals? What kind of return or protection are you looking for? You know, you could go to anybody, and, you know, these home builders say, hey, build me a house. They can be like, okay, they can build you a house, but you might not like the house, but they didn't know what you wanted, that you had no conversation on it. Well, if you want a 2-story, you want granite countertops, and it wasn't even discussed.
Exactly. And I actually went through that home building process a few years ago, just with my parents. A goal of mine is to bring them down.
Yeah.
And with my mom, she's handicapped, paralyzed from the waist down. And so she's not a cookie cutter home build. And I understood what I needed from an open concept, 2-bedroom, single floor, simple. And most of the time we went to these custom home builders, and I learned, well, they just had templates.
Yeah.
And they had relationships with suppliers that would prefab what you needed from a material standpoint, but truly weren't custom.
Yeah.
And that frustrated me, to be somebody that understands the concepts of real estate, have great relationships in the industry, but then truly figure out when you want to develop a custom plan, it was still cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And so we know from those experiences, we're trying to create truly authentic, custom built plans that can be tailored to a client because we have that autonomy.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a statistic about a month ago, maybe a little bit more, and the majority of people, when they get engaged, spend over a year planning their wedding. They spend over a year planning one day of their life. But how long do you spend planning the rest of your life? That could be 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, that's deep.
It is. And that's why I think that's what causes the shift in the momentum from first meeting them to them leaving with clarity and confidence. And wow, they want to, we get invited to sometimes their family events. Like we truly have built a community. And that's one of my favorite parts, is that they feel comfortable and that they like hanging out with us. I think that's the most compliment we could ever get, is that someone wants to hang out with us outside the office.
Yeah, and you brought up fishing, so maybe that's our next one in wisdom. We'll have a fishing event over at the pond, and we can all fish together. I would love that. Yeah, shameless plug. So if you guys want a fishing event, comment below or wherever we post these things. Call us in, email.
Yes.
If you guys want to have a Bassmaster Classic. We'll call it the Big Money Bassmaster Classic.
Oh, goodness.
Springtime,
maybe
2026.
Spring. Yes.
Yeah, spring 2026. It's not fun fishing in the winter.
Hey, we're always open to feedback. Investment-wise, fun-wise. We like to do the fun stuff.
Yeah. And that ties right back into that allocation meeting, because we take that feedback and we never move forward with the plan until we get the signatures from the client.
Oh, absolutely.
So what an allocation looks like is we do the cash flow. It's color coordinated. You know exactly which account you're going to draw from. You know how the balances are impacted. You'll see those market fluctuations. But then in addition to that, we'll show you a risk score. So are you taking the risk to achieve your goals that's aligned with what you're comfortable with?
Absolutely.
Countless clients we've sat with some other places have come in and said, you know what, I'm conservative, I'm moderate, however you want to scale that. And then we pull up their portfolio and they're absolutely aggressive.
Yes.
Because they're working with asset managers that just think the markets continually go up. And they tell a client, it's just stay invested. But they don't think about withdrawal strategies. They don't think about sequence of returns risk. They don't look at interest rate risk or reinvestment risk. They just simply say, you know what, stock market will go up over time.
Yeah, and that's great philosophy for a 20, 30-year-old, but not someone who is approaching retirement. I would say even within like the next 5 years of thinking about retirement, because will the markets always bounce back? Oh yeah, absolutely. But how long? Do you have that long? And that's why, like you said, that will show like the market fluctuations, but then they also have their protected bucket. So that way they know they will get income regardless of what the market does, and their income bucket won't go down.
Yeah, allocation is so important. There's a ladder downstairs right now, but there's no older people stepping up on that ladder.
Right.
Because we know if an older person falls off that ladder,
that's issue.
That's an issue. They may not get back up. But you see those younger people, they're a little bit more resilient.
Right.
They take a fall. It may hurt, and they're going to do some steps to recover, but they have that time to recover.
Yes.
Same with a retiree, is saving is step one, and then you get to a point where you want to transition to a spender. When we put that allocation and it's color coordinated, that's the confidence in front of you to say, you know what, okay, I can take money off of this account. Because what's the point of saving if you don't spend it?
Right.
And that's our goal, is to challenge people to truly spend towards things that are important.
Yeah.
Whether it's being a homebody and just making the backyard an oasis, that's great. If you like to work out, let's get some workout equipment that makes it more fun.
Yeah.
Or if you do want to have that second home down in Hilton Head because the beach air makes you breathe better.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen. Or, if you just don't want to worry about losing your paycheck and not replacing it, let's make sure that we build that through. But that cash flow, those allocation meetings are very important. And then we sign an investment advisory agreement so we're aligned together.
Absolutely.
We're going to sign off that we're going to do the plan in accordance with your goals.
Absolutely.
And so we'll see those documents together and we'll put it in the black box so that the important documentation is there for you. And then the next step occurs is, okay, now we go on the backside, our team with our onboarding and our client solution specialists, they're going to help us make sure that here's what we said we'd do. Are we actually doing it?
Oh, absolutely. We like to be intentional and transparent. And if we say we're going to do something, being results oriented and disciplined and getting it done.
Yeah.
Because if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. And I feel like that's also a problem that a lot of people have. They're like, oh, well, I joined the firm and then I never saw my advisor again, or I haven't spoken to him since I joined 3 years ago. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, how are things doing? And they don't know.
How are things doing, right? And are you still aligned? Have there been changes?
Yeah, I mean, people constantly have changes. I mean, sometimes we'll have a review with somebody, and then we have their next review scheduled either 6 months, a year out, but then they'll call in 2 weeks because something just happened that was unexpected,
Yeah.
Good or bad. Like, oh, their daughter just decided she got engaged, and now they want to help pay for that wedding. Or, they took a family trip, and now they're had a lot of fun and want to plan another one,
Yeah, or they saw the other significant other retire.
Yeah.
And they're like, that feels good.
Yeah.
Hey, push that button again.
Yeah.
Can I retire too?
Yeah, let's do this together. Yeah. I don't want to wake up and go to work and he gets to sit at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that quite a bit. So we'll walk through that allocation together. And that's why we're building out the team. So Alan is doing a great job internally running our client solutions team.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth is stepping into that role where now for me, she's dedicated to help make sure when we do our client reviews, have we done our client review?
Right.
Does that client have a meeting on the schedule? Do we need to proactively reach out and say, hey, you know what? Where is it? When can we get together? And then before that meeting happens, what has changed?
Yes.
What topics do you want to discuss? And so we're constantly making those improvements as we grow.
But why it's important to have a team? I mean, could you imagine just having to do all that by yourself? I mean, I understand how people can join a person or a firm and then they don't hear from them for years because they joined that one person. And that one person is in back-to-back meetings or is on vacation. And that's why if someone becomes one of your clients, their meetings will be with you. Their reviews will be with you. But if they call in one day because they need something or they're confused on something or they just want to talk about a possible idea they have and you're in a meeting, well, we have a whole team here just to speak with them and give them clarity and confidence until you can get back to them. And at least they know expectations versus agreements. So they know, okay, Matt's in the meeting. I spoke with Elizabeth. She said he'll give me a call later this afternoon. So they're not just waiting around like, oh, when am I going to get him on the phone? Do I need to send him an email? They know, okay, Matt's going to give me a call back.
Yeah, that's really powerful. But yeah, we're going to invest in the clients and be client obsessed, that there's no point in growing and being named to the Inc. 5000 list for the last 2 years in a row, which is great. We're seeing that growth.
It's exciting.
I mean, it's exciting, but you'll see some advisors, they just grow singularly.
Right.
And then there's no infrastructure build. And so our commitment is we're going to continue to grow and help these households and these families with their dream retirement, but we're also going to build up so that we know this is a commitment for their lives.
Yes. I mean, it will never be a situation like, oh, they're getting bigger, or they're not going to have time for me. No, if anything, we're getting bigger to give you better customer service, to give you more clarity and confidence regardless. Life is uncertain. Uncertainty happens all the time, even after there's a plan and you know that you're from that financial aspect at that moment, things are good. But if something changes, you want to know that you're also still fully confident in your plan.
Absolutely. And we're investing in the infrastructure. I mean, we just put more resources towards a customer relationship management software to assign tasks. And make sure, are we being held accountable for the commitments that we're making towards our clients? And we're consistently improving. Just today's Friday, so 2 days ago, we sat and walked through our process on that system to say, can we make it better? Can we make it more efficient, more intuitive, more client responsive, eliminate delays, make sure the vendors that we're using, can we save money that can, at the end of the day, go back to the client experience and make it a more pleasurable dream retirement. So we work on those constantly, but in the allocation meeting, we deliver that. And then we do that proactive tax meeting with Chris, our tax advisor.
Yeah.
So we hired him last year. So as we're going through these annual reviews, we're getting those clients connected with Chris, maybe for the first time, or clients that met last year. We have the whole calendar year to do real tax planning.
Right.
And what that looks like is with Chris, he's going to take tax returns. He's going to input it into a software that accountants use, and we can run different scenarios and say, maybe for the first time, do you truly believe that Roth is better than traditional? Does it even make sense for you as a family because of the tax impact?
Absolutely.
And the great piece too is being independent, we can work with investments and private placements for accredited investors that maybe you thought you would have to owe that tax on a conversion, or if you were nervous about making a contribution to a Roth 401k if you're still working, we can look at investments that potentially can negate or offset all or a majority of that taxable liability.
Yeah.
And so that's powerful. I think in our Christmas party, we did ugly sweaters, but Chris got a standing ovation for how much he saved clients on taxes.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. The IRS is the silent partner. Just because you don't hear them does not mean they're not there.
Yeah. And so we account for that in our tax planning is, okay, how can we be truly proactive and not reactive when it comes to those strategies, and give you confidence that it may make sense, it may not, but if we can, let's use the tax code to our advantage. Everything's black and white. How do we do it the right way? But show somebody this is how much you can actually convert and not go to a new bracket.
Yeah.
Or if you are going to jump to a new bracket, can we find those investments to offset that tax liability?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's just important because also we have people come in for reviews that they'll be meeting Chris for the first time because last year because it's been a great year in the market, they now have earned money and now their account levels are higher where it does bump them to next tax brackets, or it changes their plan, and that they wouldn't have even thought about previously. Like, people don't think about that thing because it's not top of mind, but it is an important part of your tax and retirement plan, but always looking at them each year as things change.
Yeah. And life will change, and we want to stay connected. So after that beginning onboarding 4-step process, truly that's where the fun begins, because every 2 months we get to do things like Wine and Wisdoms. And I think the best problem we have is we are running out of venues that can hold everybody.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have to go to wedding venues now. I mean, it's crazy. Just one a few months ago, we can fit normally about 200 people, and we had 400 people register, and that was insane. And I was like, gosh, what a blessing that all these people want to hang out with us.
Yes. Because we want to hang out with them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the challenge, is how do we find places that can hold 700 households at one time?
Oh, I don't think there is one.
We'll have to do big money city-state.
Yeah.
We'll have to create our own little country.
Yeah, we'll have to have our own like downtown Greenville festival and rent out the whole city.
Hey, think big, right? Why not have our own city?
That's right. Hey, that's right. But I think it's just awesome, and the most warming part is people coming to our Wine and Wisdoms for the first time, because we open them up to people who are not clients also, but sometimes people don't want to come until they become a client, which is absolutely perfectly fine. Nobody has to hang out with us. We just enjoy it. But they come and they are so happy. They are so excited. They are making new friends. They're enjoying the evening. And it is so my favorite part, absolutely, because I've seen it the most, and it's what I do the most, is making sure that those experiences are just the most flawless and open and engaging and fun that they can be. And seeing people relaxed. I mean, people will come and, I mean, gosh, we know, you think with 700 households, that's like, do we even know anybody? We know everybody. Like, it's very rare that we even see someone in, I mean, just if they're not a client that you've ever seen, but if they are your client, like, you know all your clients. Like, it's not someone who's like, oh, yeah, I think I work with Matt. And Matt's like, who are you? No, like, we all know each other, and the clients know us because, I mean, most of the time they call and we see them in the office and they will be walking by and they're like, oh, I just wanted to drop in and say hello, because we have built what I consider a community, and giving people just a space where they can enjoy their retirement. I mean, that's just what life's about.
Yeah. Just yesterday in the Simpsonville office, know the daily schedule because we go over it every day. And I'm having a meeting and the doors are closed, but I can hear people out in the seating area.
Yeah.
I was like, sounds like people are here. And so I opened the door and there's Alan, because two of our clients were just in the area having lunch, and they're like, you know what, we're going to stop by the office and just say hello.
Yeah.
And so Alan had like 30-minute conversation, and it was just great to see that, because I don't think we have that connection if we don't make true lasting impacts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people don't always remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. And I think that when people come in and they learn, you know, and have clarity and have a plan and have confidence, that weight has just been lifted off of them, because that is a big weight. And it's like, hey, let's make this as enjoyable as possible. You know, sometimes we have to have realistic conversations. Well, we always have to have realistic conversations, but sometimes it's not always what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And then sometimes it's getting them to do all the things that they wanted to do.
Yeah, we're going to challenge clients to live that dream retirement, but we're also going to support them more than they've ever been supported to do that. And so what that looks like is unique to each person, but that's our commitment internally. That's where we get challenged and held accountable on a weekly basis of every Monday. We call it Dreams Achieved, but let's look at the clients who achieved something important in their lives, and let's celebrate that, and let's continue to make those impacts on people here in the upstate of South Carolina. Now we're going into low country.
Yes.
Our clients that have moved to different areas. But I think people come in with a hesitation of, okay, what is the absolute most perfect investment plan? And it almost becomes an analysis by paralysis of, should it be precious metals? Should it be the Japanese index that we track today? Should it be the S&P 500? Should it be small U.S.-based companies? At what point does it make sense to be exposed to European companies? Should it be real estate? Should it be digital currency? Like, how does all of this fit? Should I be super allocated into the AI boom?
Right.
Am I chasing trends, or am I looking to where the next trend is going to be? Most of that creates an imperfect strategy because it's constantly being changed and stressed, versus very few people walk in and have a plan.
Right.
My goal is, if we're going to go to a barbecue tomorrow, like, we're living our best lives tomorrow, teammate Teddy's having everybody over, we're bringing our families. Both of our kids will be there.
Yeah.
And so they'll be hanging out at the pool, having a blast. But when we look at developing a true plan, that's where I think most people overlook it. And that analysis by paralysis, our job is to show value where value can be made, not gouge people on high fees, but truly find investments that are tried and true and work. And we use the data to build that confidence. But we'll walk through that process. We call it the big money blueprint.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that the clients that have the confidence and clarity are the ones that walk through that, have a cash flow, and they know that they're on track. Or if their goal was unrealistic, how do we get to where we should be with the best of our abilities?
Right.
And our job is not to beat people up about past decisions.
The past is the past.
The past is the past, but we can show a future that is more optimistic.
Oh, absolutely.
And we can show them a direction and lead them in a way that hopefully is different than what they've felt in the past. And so as we continue to grow nationally, I hope that people can find and feel this is what the big money difference really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about how whenever someone meets us or hears us for the first time or through any of our encounters, it's just to leave you with more clarity and confidence. And if anybody listening today would like a copy of Retire Right that our founder Jonathan Burgess wrote last year, we'd love to send you a complimentary copy just for you to know a little bit more about us and our philosophies, our process. You can click the link in the description below, or you can text book to 864-920-3155 and we'll get a copy of that right out to you.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited. This was my first time on the Build Big, Live Bigger podcast.
Yes.
Hopefully,
this was fun.
Maybe I get an invite back. I don't know.
Yeah,
you guys
maybe.
decide.
My first time too, Matt.
If you can make this the most viewed, most liked podcast, then maybe we'll get it.
Yes. Yeah. And if you want to come hang out with us at any of our events, just let us know. Like, that's our favorite thing that we do is seeing smiles on people's faces.
Yeah, truly making an impact.
Yes. Well, thank you, Matt. Nice talking with you.
Yeah. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Let's get ready for the pool party.
Yes.